Like, I see you as my best friend, but like then when we have to go into serious business talk, I'm like
weird.
Wait.
But that's why they say don't start a business with your friends.
Oh, they definitely say that.
Chemical X.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Chemical X podcast featuring your girl, Alessia, also known as Alessia.
And me, Veronica. Guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, then leave us a 5-star rating and maybe even a, little bit of a review if you're feeling so generous.
I did the stupidest thing this morning, and Veronica put me right in my place. So I was under the impression we were at 1.9K followers on YouTube, which meant we were only missing 10 followers in order to be at 2K. So I was like, guys, like, thank you so much for the support. If 10 people could be so kind and go follow and subscribe.
Well, even if we were at 1.9, it would be missing 100.
Well, what was it? It was supposed to be 1.99.
Yeah.
I was like dyslexic with the numbers, and we were at 1.5. So even if 10 people basically would go subscribe, we would not be at 2K. So
we were going to be at 1,600 basically.
So people were probably like, okay, let me go on YouTube, let me help them out.
They're like, call me when you need that 10 for 2K, but like
it was so embarrassing.
I was so confused when you posted that because I was like, wait, what? Did we grow 500 followers overnight? Is there something that I missed? Like,
no, there's nothing you missed, just Alessia being an idiot.
But to be fair, the way that it shows on the YouTube
you
studio,
don't see the number.
Yeah, you just see like 1 point, like, and then the 2 numbers. So
yeah,
I'll let it slide, but still I was like,
basically don't do anything while Veronica's sleeping. She wakes up and she's like, what's
I have to fucking fix everybody's mess when I wake up.
I've been sleeping in till like 1, 2 and still waking up exhausted. To be fair, I'm going to bed at like 5, 6. So it's
you also
like,
have no job, so
yes, but I just like my sleeping habits recently are like so fucking off, and I'm curious if anybody else is feeling that way.
Well, because I've been working from home, I feel like because I'm like not leaving, doing like that transit to work and stuff, like I'm really always in my house.
Yeah.
When I like don't do anything for the day except work, I can't sleep. I literally can't fall asleep, and then when I wake up, I'm so fucking exhausted. Like no matter how much I sleep, I'm so exhausted.
Yeah, and that brings me to my next point. I need to work out again, because I remember when I used to work out, I used to be tired and then I would go to bed. Now I'm just like on my phone. That's another thing. I'm always on my phone. I'm like in my room. I'm like working, editing, and then I'm like going back into the same bed where I was editing. So it just feels like I'm missing like circulation. I need to get out or something.
Yeah, that's my problem too. That's why like on the days that I do go to the gym, I feel like it's better, but I still feel like recently, I don't know if it's because of the weather or whatever, but I'm so tired. And I realize I actually have a coffee addiction. Like now it's like I'm actually an addict. Like some days I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna have a coffee. Gets to 6 p.m. Guys, I'm literally falling asleep while driving. I can't keep my eyes open. I'm like, oh my God, I need rehab. Like,
well, my heart is palpitating right now, and I'm wondering if it's that.
Did you have a coffee?
No.
Well, that would be the effect of too many
coffees. Is that what happens?
If you have too many coffees, you can have like a heart palpitation.
No,
but
I don't have too many coffees. I'm like a coffee girl, but I'm not at the same time.
Right. You're
like I go through stages.
Social coffee girl.
Yeah.
Well, I was that, but then, slowly it became a full-blown addiction. But I only have one a day, so like I'm not that bad.
Right.
But if I don't have that one, we got a serious issue. And then it's very like if I have one after 6, I'm not sleeping till 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole lot of issues that
I think that's also my problem. I'll go get like a Starbucks at like 8 o'clock at night, and then I'm awake till 5 a.m. And I think also I need a decrease in my phone screen time, because lately all I am is on my phone. And I even say to myself, I need to get off. Like, this is unhealthy. Like, you know, when you're on your phone for so long that you start to feel sick.
Yeah.
Get nauseous.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, let me get up. Let me get off. So that's one of my New Year's resolutions, guys, to have less screen time.
Well, to be honest, one funny thing. Well, even now when I work in the club, because I'm like working during the week, I wake up earlier, and then it's like when I work at night, I'm going to bed at 4 a.m., but I'm still somehow waking up at 9 a.m. and I want to die. But I used to, when I was working in the office, I used to eat weed gummies before going to bed so that I could sleep longer. And they were just like the ones that would kind of make you tired. Like they weren't that strong to get you high. And I would take like one every.
Where do you get that? I
don't know. I got them from a friend. But anyways, I would take one after every shift so that I could sleep longer. And then I'm like, let me start taking two, right? Like I feel like it's going to be better. I'm going to sleep longer. And I'm sleeping anyway. So I started taking two. And then one weekend I took two, but I didn't fall asleep right away. So they like kicked in while I was still awake. And let me tell you, I almost called the ambulance. I was like, oh my God, I'm way too fucking high. It was literally 5 a.m. I'm calling my cousin like, I'm so high, I don't know what to do. And at that point, you can't sleep anymore because you're so high, you actually can't sleep. Wow. So let me tell you, I put those candies away and I never touched them again.
Well, pass them over.
Clearly, you need them. Well, actually, you're sleeping too much.
I know, but I think I'm sleeping too much. I'm going to bed late, but I'm also waking up a lot during the night, which is so unlike me. Normally when I crash out, I crash out. I don't know if it's because I'm like, I have so much on my mind. I'm like, Alessia, it's time to get a job. Like all these little things. But then when I wake up and I start my day and I'm doing things, I'm like, that job will come, like I'm not stressed. But I think at night is when I'm in my thoughts. I'm like, fuck.
Well, when I
used to pass me those weed gummies.
When I used to have no job, I was the same way. Like I would sleep at 5 a.m. and then I was tossing and turning because you're not actually really tired. Like you didn't really do much. You know what I mean? Like you did, but did you really?
All day?
Like your trip to Starbucks was not enough to tire you out, But that's becoming my problem again when you work from home. I'm sure so many people who work from home can relate. Like you're not actually like expending your physical energy. Yeah. It's more like mentally draining, but then you're like, okay, well, still ready to go.
Well, it started to get concerning for me when I was going to bed at 6 a.m. and I was like, I really need to make it to an appointment I had booked. At 12, I'm like, I'm really stressed. I'm not going to wake up because you go to bed so late that you almost like don't wake up in the morning. And it's like you could wake up at 2 o'clock and be like, what time, day, year is it? And that's what was happening to me. And I had an appointment. Guys, remember how I spoke about how I really wanted to get my chin just injected and fixed? So I booked that. And my appointment was at 2 o'clock. Okay? Why would nobody wake up? It's 2 o'clock. I've been waiting on this appointment. I don't know. It's 25 years I want this. I've been never more excited to do this. And I wake up at 1:30. And I told myself, because now I'm getting more into YouTube and stuff, I was like, I need to make sure that I'm up so that I could film the before and after because I want to do a YouTube video on it. I wake up at 1:30 panicking. I don't want to go to the office ugly because I need to film the whole procedure. And I wake up at 1:30 and I'm like, I'm going to be late. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be late. And I'm on the road. And then I also forget because I made my consultation 6 months ago. So I forgot that it was 30 minutes away. I thought it was 15 minutes away, but that's another thing in my New Year's resolution I need to work on, and it's time management. Perfect. And so I'm there. It's like 1:45 and I'm doing my vlog video. So this is what my chin looks like now. You'll see what it looks like in a bit. And I call them and I'm like, I'm going to be 15 minutes late. They're like, don't bother showing up. I'm like, oh my God, I wanted this for so long. I've been telling all my friends the day has finally come. And I'm the reason I'm missing my own appointment.
It's a bit like when you fail your driving test. Like, you have to go home like, fuck, I didn't get it.
And then I call her and she's like, don't bother coming. He can't take you. So I'm freaking out. And then she's like, it's fine. Just come back tomorrow at 12. I'm like, you know what? I'm pissed. I'm still pissed. But I'm like, you know what? At least it's tomorrow. Yeah. It's not so bad.
And I even spoke to you and you're like, I waited my whole life for this. I could wait another day.
Yeah, well, I was convincing you. I want you to know I was fucking pissed. At 7:30 in the morning, I get a call. This is the day after when I'm supposed to go at 12. The secretary was like, I'm so sorry, but your doctor is not in today because he lost his father. And
but just like, what are the chances that
I don't need to be laughing because it's really not something funny. But if anybody knows me, I laugh at uncomfortable situations. And yeah, I'm just like, I really just fucked myself over. Yep. Because yesterday his father wasn't dead.
And it's on you, baby.
And now, when am I going to get next appointment?
Never.
We need to at least give the guy, 2-3 weeks? I'm in Miami. I wanted my chin for Miami. Anyways, basically. I went 25 years without a chin. I guess I could wait another 3 weeks.
I think so, but I think this was a perfect learning opportunity to say be on time and...
Oh, this was the perfect opportunity. And then I didn't mean to be like insensitive, but I was like, should I be booking my appointment with somebody else? Because I really want it done before I leave on vacation. And so I call back the nurse. Now it's like 2. It's not 7:30 in the morning. I'm like, maybe she has news. Like, no, she has no news. His father just died. Like, what news?
Yeah. He's not coming in.
He's not coming in. I was just wondering, do you know roughly how much? No, yeah, I did that.
If somebody would do that to me, I would be like, you know what? Actually blacklisted. This client's not allowed back.
Do you know roughly how long it's going to be before? She's like, we just got the text today. Like, we don't know. I was like, you're right. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was even like, I just want to know if I should book with another doctor. And this whole procedure of my chin, just to finish it off, is like they need to put Botox, and then the next week they were going to put injection. So it was already a week and a half process by the time I was going to get it done. So now what happens?
Well, actually, realistically, even if you would have gotten your Botox.
No, it was all planned to be done.
No, but I'm saying what would have happened if in a week from now he's obviously not in, so you still wouldn't have gotten your fillers.
Right, but then if he would have came in the next week, I would have still been able to do it on time. Now it's like there's no possibility of that. All because I decided to sleep in and my fucking sleep schedule has been disgusting.
I think this all goes back to get a job.
Yeah, and time management.
So I wanted to say a story that happened to me last night and that I had the fucking worst night of my life, guys. So, you know, just like a day where everything is just going wrong. Like, it's just like
normally
one
like that
thing after another, and you're just like, honestly, I want to go home. Like, I just clock me out, you know?
Yeah.
So I get to work and I'm super excited because I just got in like my 2 new outfits for work. So I was like, which one am I wearing? Like, I'm excited. And I put on my amazing corset that I ordered. 10 minutes later, suddenly all the boning of the corset is ripping out of the fucking top. So I'm like, perfect. Thank God I have 2 options. And let me tell you, I didn't waste time reading that email to Opali. Sorry, my order was damaged.
No,
I immediately wrote an email and I was like, refund me. So anyway, so that was my first thing that happened. So I'm like, whatever. I'm pissed. I want to save this dress for Saturday, but I'm wearing it tonight, Friday night. So I go downstairs to put my stuff back into my locker, and there's like 2 lockers on top of each other. They're like these mini lockers, right? So I check the first one and I'm like, okay, it's full. So then I go down to the second one under it to open the door, and I bend over to open the door, and they're like metal lockers. So you have to pull them really fucking hard to open them. So I yank the door open, but the door is stuck to the top door. So not only does the bottom door open, but the top door opens, smacks me directly in the middle of my forehead, okay? I have a red line down the middle of my forehead. I almost concussed myself. I'm like, no, like, I can't deal with this.
You should have known right after that the whole night was going to be a
fail.
fail.
The whole night was like, just go home after
the whole night was going to be a fail.
Honestly, that happens, go home. And the worst part too is like when something like that happens, you almost wish there was people there to like laugh with you. You know what I mean? Like, So anyway, so I'm like, okay, well, already my night's shit, so I should just go home. But then like clients start coming in, I start getting my table. So I'm like, okay, we're off to a good start, you know? And I see one of my tables, one of the first tables that comes in. They're super friendly. He recognizes me. He's like, I've seen your table commercial. So he knew who I was. I was like, okay, fun. And like a couple of people at the table knew who I was. And I feel like that's fun because then you're like comfortable already to like have a good night. You know, you get to know them. So I'm like, okay, perfect. We're having fun. Everything's all good. Midway through the night, I go check on their table. One of the guys goes, don't touch our stuff. And I'm like, and I'm thinking, does he think I'm a random girl who just came to this table? So I go, oh, sorry, I'm the waitress. He's like, I know who you are. Don't touch our bottles. Get away from our table. And he starts shooing me. You know, like some like shooing you.
Yeah,
and for some
like
reason, that's like disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, you shoo me, I'm breaking your hand. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, what's the problem here? Like, is there? And he goes, you poured out our bottle. You flipped our bottle when there was still some in the bottle. And I was like, no, the bottle was empty when I flipped it. I always check the bottle before. He's like, no, you didn't. You flipped it and there was still some.
I had to lose a fan real quick.
Yeah. And I was like, oh.
Veronica, all you had to do was not flip the bottle.
Well, fuck, I'm never flipping a bottle ever again in my life. I'm like, to be honest, I only flipped them that it's easier for you guys to see which one still has alcohol in it.
Right. And they had 2 bottles.
They had 2 bottles. So I was like, that's just the protocol of what we do. And I'm like, look, I would never do that. It doesn't, you guys have another bottle. It's not like I'm flipping it and you guys are gonna buy something else.
Yeah.
And then they're fighting with me, okay? And there was only one guy there when I went to flip the bottle, and he's the one saying, I saw you. And they're all going, yeah, he told us. So now I'm like, you're the one starting this rumor about me. And then I go, look, what can I do, guys? How much was left in the bottle? Like, just to, I'm like, I'll bring you guys a shot, whatever. He goes, this much. Guys, no. Just so you know, he said a quarter of the bottle. And I was like, no, okay. I was like, okay. Like, to be honest, like,
they just wanted a free
I was just like, to be honest, like, guys, like, I would literally never do that. That's just not my character. And he's, get out, don't touch. He's flicking my hand away from the table. And I was like, pissed. I was so mad.
No kidding.
And I'm just like, don't accuse me of something that's so insulting to my personality.
Yeah.
You're basically telling me that I'm a shark. I'm the last person that would do that. So I'm super insulted. And I'm trying to like be like, look, guys, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I really didn't do that. And they're like, it's fine. We know you did that.
That's just the worst though, when someone just like smirks you, like basically you could think what you want.
Sure. You could.
I know what happened. I was there. I saw
with my own eyes. But also, if you saw with your own eyes me flipping a fucking full bottle, wouldn't you maybe, I don't know, stop me?
But also, even at that, as a guy, like, why can't the one person who saw be the only one?
Yeah.
Like, why are all the little minions talking on his behalf?
And then they're all like pissed at me for the rest of the night. I'm not allowed to go see their table. And I'm like, sad. I'm like crying in the back. Like, these people were so mean to me. They were so disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I'm so awkward now because every time I go see their table, they're like giving me dirty looks, like not even looking at me. All the people that were friendly with me are like giving me dirty looks, like avoiding eye contact, like, you know what I mean? Like, just that kind of vibe. And I was like, okay, what the fuck? So now I go to
maybe they just wanted a shout out on the podcast.
Crazy. Maybe that's what would have fixed them. Yeah, they got it. Full circle, they got it. So then I go see another table. They order champagne. I'm like, fun. I bring him the champagne. I'm like, here, do you want to open it? Because I usually let people open their own champagne. He goes, no problem. He opens the bottle of champagne, chugs it. And at this point, guys, I already cried. I already had a bad night, Like, I'm just like, leave me alone. Chugs the champagne. And when you chug champagne, majority of the time you end up like spitting it out.
It's coming out like a bottle that was like a 7-Up bottle that was like tipped over.
Exactly. So like you always end up spitting it out, right? So he chugs the bottle, but I don't expect him to chug it in that way. Like, obviously you're an adult, you know not to do that.
Well, it shoots out like a hurricane.
Yeah, chugs it, sprays it, spits it all over me because I'm standing right in front of him, in my eye, all over my face. And I'm like, guys, first of all, Omnicron. Okay. Second of all, I already had a bad night. My eyelashes are already coming off because I cried. And now you just spit champagne into my eye? Like, I don't need pink eye as well. So now my eyelash is on its last leg. And I'm just trying to get through the night. And then there's, this bottle was a wrong charge. I'm getting all these. I'm like, guys,
when it rains, it pours.
When it rains, it pours.
And it poured all over you.
It poured. And then at the end of the night, I go, to be honest, I'm talking with the other waitresses. I'm like, I feel so bad. Like, what do I do to like try to save this situation? Like, I really didn't do that. I don't know how to convince them that I didn't.
Yeah, but you almost have to like put your fucking pride aside, which is the hardest thing.
But it's just like, if I would admit, like, the problem with that, it's if I would admit, yeah, I did flip your bottle,
going against what you did,
but also I'm getting fired. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I can't admit to something that I actually didn't do.
Yeah.
So at the end of the night, they're like leaving. The lights are on at this point, and I'm just like, he's saying bye to the other waitress because they were even like, are you bringing me the bill or is Veronica bringing me the bill? Like, they did not want anything to do with me, and I was like, okay. So at the end of the night, I was just like, hey guys, like, I just wanted to say, like, I'm really sorry if there was like a misunderstanding, but I just want you to know that I really like genuinely would never do that. So like, I don't want you to feel like I took advantage of your table or something.
Didn't you say they were all on drugs?
I was going to leave that out, but
okay.
So then he looks at me and he goes, who are you again? I don't even know you. And I was like, wow, like that's like rude. Like, I'm coming to you being like friendly.
I cannot stand people who feel like they can be rude to anyone in like the working industry. Well, anyone in general, but it's just so rude.
Yeah.
Like, no one's gonna want to date you. Like,
And
you treat your mom bad.
And I was just like, there was just so many reasons why I wouldn't have done that. Like, it's not even like it was somebody that I'm trying to milk them. You know what I mean? Like,
isn't it the worst when you can't prove anything?
I was gonna tell my manager, can we check the cameras?
And as the waitress, like, you can't. You're always technically in the wrong if the client says that.
1,000,000%. And the worst part is that only one person saw me and went and tell everyone. So now they're all believing this one guy. And I'm there going, I swear I actually didn't.
It just like, it doesn't make sense because they had another bottle also. Why would you be dumping out a bottle when either way they're not buying another one?
Exactly. And at the end of the night, they're like, it's fine. We forgive you. And then the guy's in the back going, but I know that you did it. Anyways, I was so mad. I had the worst night. Don't talk to me. Because for me, it's like, I could be that person who's like, there's a lot of people in the club industry that will take advantage of people and will push you to buy more and will like be a really hardcore salesperson. But that's not me, and that's never been me. Like, I'm always very like, let's drink, let's have fun. I'll never take advantage of somebody. So doing that for so long, and for you to come to me and accuse me of something that genuinely is like the opposite of my character was like fucking insulting.
Yeah.
And then also, he knows me. So I'm like, I need to fix this barrier, because when I'm famous, I don't need my TMZ article being like, yeah, Veronica Rossi is actually a shark who takes advantage of people in the club. Like, I need to think about my brand here at the end of the day. Like,
and I promise you what they're going to leave out in TMZ, and it's, she brought us shots at the end of the night. They're leaving that out. That's not in there.
As soon as they're saying who wants to, you know, we're going to buy a story for Veronica Rossi, these guys' hands are up. They're like, boy, do I have a story for you. So then it's going to be, I drugged the bottle. What else did I do now?
Oh my God. And this week's topic, we wanted to talk about New Year's resolutions, like things we want to work on, things we want to fix in this new year, which is very weird because normally a new year starts on your birthday. So I still have until January. But Veronica's, yours just happened. So it's a little bit before New Year's.
Yeah, I would say, like, to be honest, I find my most resolutions that I do is always more like on my birthday. Like, it's like, okay, things I want to achieve this year. Like, It's like, I feel more now getting older. You're like, okay, I'm 25. So I've said this in the past, but I don't really believe so much in New Year's resolutions, just because I find if you're waiting for January 1st to start doing something, chances are you're not going to follow through with it.
It's like, I'll start my diet on Monday. I'll start the gym on Monday.
It's not going to be something like, it's like, if you really want to do something, start it now. Why do you need to wait for this certain day? Like, it's a lifestyle. It's going to be.
I feel like people do that because they feel like they can cancel out all the time they have until then, and then get in the mindset, but really the mindset is to just start.
That's the thing. And I find, like, if you really want to make a change in your life, never wait on a Monday, never wait on a new year, never wait on like something to happen to do it, because I promise you're gonna always be waiting. You're gonna be like, oh, maybe next year, because it's like studying, okay, for example, or doing anything. You're like, okay, at 8 p.m. I'm going to start studying. And then it's 8:05 and you're like, okay, at 9 p.m. because I missed 8 p.m. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with New Year's resolutions, I find. You fuck up one year, you go, okay, well, there's always next year. Because now you're putting that deadline.
Should I still say my New Year's resolutions?
Okay, but to be fair, like, I think they're still good, but I also think it depends your character. Like, we're two people that are actually gonna do what we say we're gonna do. Like, we really believe in manifesting and vision and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just think there's a lot of people out there that are like, okay, I'm gonna start January 1st, and I'm like, you would have started already, you know? Like, if it's August and you're saying my New Year's resolution is, and I'm gonna start January 1st, come on.
Yeah, it's so true. So I kind of wrote a list of like all of mine, and you have, I'm sure, some of yours. And I was like, Veronica, should we write a couple about each other and then see if we like nail it, make like a fun game out of it? But I'm like, I don't want to.
I don't know if this is a fun game.
I don't know if we're gonna end up in a fight. Like,
I think we're gonna end up in a fight, actually.
Yeah. Well, when you tell me time management, I don't want us to get in our fight.
Oh no. Well, time management, I hope that's on your list, to be honest.
People don't really see what goes on behind.
Oh my God.
Closed doors. Veronica and I are very similar. There's a lot of things that like sometimes we disagree on, and like we're in a partnership together, which is, when you really think about it every day, it's fucked up.
Yeah. But there's also a lot of things that like clash in ways that we are, you know what I mean, or things, and time management is one of them.
Time management is one, and we'll get into that. I feel like people will find it relatable. You're like, oh boy,
Yeah,
get the fists ready. So about like a month ago, Veronica and I got in a fight, and it happened to be, so we have to understand that this is still technically a startup. And, you know, David, her boyfriend, is very kind to click the buttons every week. And we try and help me here. I don't want to get in a fight, man. I'm trying here. And we try and schedule it that it fits both our schedules,
Right.
and David's, because David has to click the button,
Right.
Obviously he's the best at doing it, so to ask a friend, it's always like
it's a learning process.
it's a learning process. There's a lot of things that could go wrong if a friend comes and click, but we do love when you guys say, if ever you need somebody to come click, like, I would do it. It really actually means a lot, because there's a lot of times we're stuck and we're like, we need to shoot, David's not available, none of our friends want to come.
We already banked out like most of our friends here that
Yeah.
like we run on different schedules. Like I'm very like, I wouldn't say I'm very punctual, but it's very like, if you tell me a time, like I'll actually be ready for that time, and I'm gonna set up everything so we're ready to go. And then you're more like, okay, well, I'm running late, I'm this, and like it was kind of like, okay, then I'm annoyed, and then like David would be really annoyed because he's changing his
makes
plans
sense
to like be here for this, and then like you're showing up an hour late, and then I'm mad, so then we're starting the podcast, then we're in a bad mood. There were just like so many things going wrong, so then we had to talk, and I was like, look, like, because she was like, I feel like you're not in a good mood, I feel like the energy's not there, and I'm like, I'm gonna be honest, like, it's because like when somebody's not like, for me it's more like a respect thing. I find
for
with
sure.
time, like for me time equals respect. If I'm here like showing up for you in a sense, and it's like I'm waiting, I'm changing my day for this to work, I just,
well, I think also if David's pissed and he's your boyfriend, it's kind of like, and you're in the middle where you're like, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to start shit, but
a 1,000,000%. And then also we never like say anything because we also don't want to ruin the mood of the podcast, so I just like internalize it. So then I was like, look, I really need you to try harder.
Well, when Veronica said we need to talk, and I have to work on that, because in this case, you're absolutely right. And I feel like my thing is really like when somebody comes on and like attacks me, my mode is like, like I literally like,
that should be your New Year's resolution.
that is one of my New Year's resolutions.
But to be fair, I know that about you, and I always come in a nice way. Like I'm always like, look, like I'm not the person who's gonna be like, you fucking, you know what I mean? Like, thankfully I'm not like that, because or else this would just be
this
like
friendship
not
would have,
work.
this podcast would have ended after episode 1.
1,000,000%. But like I already know that you're gonna be defensive, but like if I give it to you in the right way, I know you're gonna be like, okay, I see your point of view, but like you're doing this wrong too. And I just say, okay, I'll take the one thing that I'm doing wrong.
I think it's really important not to have too much pride, and I think it works. Like we make it work.
I also think it's not the same as like a friendship. Like I think some things, like you said, you're like, it impacts like the actual podcast, which is like our business. So it's like, it's no longer like a friend, like personal level. It's more like, look,
which
like,
is kind of weird, because like I see you as my best friend, but like then when we have to go into serious business talk, I'm like
weird.
Wait.
But that's why they say don't start a business with your friends.
Oh, they definitely say that.
But I think podcast is allowed. You know what I mean?
I think we made it to almost 2 years. I think we could make it work.
I think we're actually like good now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for now.
But to be honest, when you spoke about resolutions, this year is the first year that I ever had a resolution, like something that I was like, I will try harder starting from January 1st to do.
And what is it?
So
are we sharing them? I guess. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this one because it's my only one. So
the rest,
I hope it's good enough.
The rest, she doesn't have to fix. She's doing great, sweetie.
So this is actually a New Year's resolution for me and all my friends.
Oh, brother.
You're like, what the fuck? Should we call everybody up and tell them?
Veronica couldn't even take her own resolution and share it. Yeah, she had to put it on everyone else.
I had to say, everyone, we had a job this year. So, but it's more so me. But I just felt like in a friend group often, especially in a big friend group with like a lot of opinions, there can be like a lot of like back and forth between people. And not to say like talking behind people's back, but it's like, you know, we're all very close. So it's like, if I have an issue with you, I'm going to go talk, you know what I mean? And there's always that back and forth of like, okay, I'm having a fight. Let me talk about it with my other friends. But I feel like over time, I really don't like that, and I don't like talking about other people behind their back, even if it's just like explaining a situation, which I get, but then it like leaks over into like people just like talking shit about other people, and then there's like all these things, and then like, okay, don't tell somebody I said this, and I hate that. Like I'm really like, I like to keep people's secrets, and I'm very trustworthy, but it's like, you're telling me things I shouldn't know and I don't want to know them, and then I'm keeping your secret, and then I'm getting in trouble for knowing and pretending I didn't know, and there's just so many things. And so basically my resolution was that I don't want to talk about anybody who's not here right now, and unless it's like discussing a situation, and I don't want to like, I just don't want things to, like, if I have a problem, go talk with the other person. Like, I don't want to be in the middle of it anymore. For example,
we did a whole Friends Miss this week. And you know what? Like, even I was like, you find yourself gossiping with your friends. And when you feel close to your friends, you feel like you could say things that you necessarily wouldn't say to anyone else, because you feel like you're in that zone where you could just like talk shit, gossip. And I actually left there going, I didn't like what I said.
Guys, the new year is coming up, and you need to be ready to go from top to bottom. And right down in the middle, you know, there's a little bit of issues to take care of, and Manscaped can take care of those issues.
Especially now that it's New Year's, a lot of people are going to be traveling. You want to make sure that, you know, the grass is mowed.
So guys, Manscaped, as you know, is the best in below the waist grooming for men. They have a wide range of products for men's hygiene, from grooming products to even shampoos, conditioners, deodorants, basically anything you need to look, smell, and feel good. So you should go check them out. And while you're at it, use our discount code.
Guys, use our discount code ChemicalX at checkout to receive 20% off the entire website and free shipping. If you're hesitant, then don't be. Guys, use our discount code ChemicalX at checkout to receive 20% off and free shipping.
And if you'd like to get spiced up with a nice tailor-made suit for you, you need to check out Isotti. Isotti is an Italian-based bespoke suit brand. They have literally anything that you would need. They're fashionable, on trend, and it's going to be made exactly to your measurements.
And in Italy.
Yeah, there's really nothing better than that. So
I mean, I think if a suit is made in Italy, you already know it's good quality. And with that being said, we have a discount code for you. So guys, ChemicalX at checkout for 20% off your first suit. I said things that I wish I didn't say.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, how can I reverse that? And it's so hard when all your friends are doing it to like not do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're like, you're almost like in a way influenced, and like,
and it's just,
and then if you're that Sally in the corner that's not doing it, it's
agree.
Like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. And that's why I'm saying it's a resolution almost for all my friends, because it's something that, it involves me, but it's like I also need everyone to be like considerate of the fact that it's like, just don't come to me if you're like, I don't mind if you're like, I'm having this problem, how should I approach this person?
Yeah,
I don't mind, I'll help you, I'll talk to you. But it's like, I hate when it's like, oh, like I'm pissed at him, or like, oh, fuck this, and so annoying, and and this and that, and I'm just like, you know what, like I'm actually tired of this. And I know it happens in every friend group, and it's just about being like aware of it, because the more you go on, the more it's going to be like little things. But I actually genuinely like, it doesn't make me feel good. Like I've always been that person. Like I don't thrive off gossip. Some people do, but for me, I actually feel shit. And if ever I say something, I'm immediately like, ugh, like even though I thought it, because it's normal to have judgments about people, it's normal to feel a certain way. But even if I thought it, I just wish I didn't say it out loud. Sometimes I just think,
because then that also could sometimes be held against you, you know? When it's like you say one thing and all of a sudden it's like, well, so-and-so agrees. And then all of a sudden you're like, no, I don't actually agree.
Exactly. And I think sometimes too, when it becomes with like friends, like a lot of like I said, when you're in a big friend group, it's like two people are having an issue, they talk about with the other people.
Thing.
You never know. It's like, yeah, I agree with you, but then also I also agree with that person, and then you're stuck. And then it's like, well, you agreed with me, well, you're taking her side. It's like,
I think it's harder, especially with us, because our group is kind of big, and a lot of people normally, like, I would say like I could count on one finger my closest friends, and then
on one finger.
On one, you're like, Ale, who do you
have?
Yeah,
me.
No, you're my colleague. Don't get it
true. I get like the free like.
No, like on one hand, I should say like my closest friends, and then we're all a group. So in the group, there's gonna be people who are closer with certain people. It's like best friends, and then like friends.
Yeah.
It's really hard sometimes, for sure, because a lot of people normally have like their 3 friends and then that's it. But we are a big group, which makes it that much harder.
Exactly.
And
I just think the more you do it, the more it happens. I've always been the person that like, don't come to me to talk shit about people, but then the more it happens around you, the more you get involved in it, the more like people bring it up to you and then you give your opinion on it. Even though I have an opinion, I don't really want to share it. Like, I don't really want to give it, but I also don't want to be there like, okay, change the subject, you know, which I feel like I have to start doing, because then, like I said, it's a domino effect. So if I start doing that, then probably other people, you know, people are going to do it less with me, then they're going to do it less with each other. And to be honest, the time I really realized that like the dynamic of the friend group is when I was in Australia and I had a completely different friend group, and anything that would happen, even if there was like an issue between 2 of us and like a big fight or somebody was acting a certain way, it was never, and when I mean never, spoken about behind their back, unless in a way like, I'm worried about her, like how can we help, like they sense her, like there was literally no like, oh, she was a fucking
they tackled
bitch.
the issue right away.
Yeah, even sometimes I was like, I wanted to talk about it because I'm used to doing that, and it was very like, oh yeah, no, she's okay. And I was like, oh wow, like what a crazy like breath of fresh air. And I guess
because I think if you have an issue and you attack it right away, it leaves that middleman out, and then suddenly the person who's getting the criticism or is being told of the issue doesn't feel like the other person who's there is like in on it, because then you start to have resentment off 2 people, because it's like, you didn't tell me.
Yeah,
okay, what else are they saying behind my back? If you're just like straight up, it cancels out like everything.
And I think it also stops a lot of problems, because I think you're just saying like, oh, that bothered me right away, instead of like talking about with somebody else and then, okay, I'm going to talk to her, and then going there and then who knows the situation. Also, when you get into an issue with somebody, and that tends to happen in your group, you're almost more mad because you know other people are talking about. Do you know what I mean? You're almost like, yeah, I know that they know because I know that you told them, and it pisses you off more. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
instead
you
of just
know that they're getting the
it.
version of the story, and it's like, ugh, like I know that we're hanging up and you're talking shit about me, and that's annoying. And I feel like that shouldn't be a thing, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's my New Year's resolution, and I feel like it's actually a good one. It also made me feel like when you were talking with Mitko and you guys were like, we're trying not to roast each other. Yeah. And I was like, you know, it's hard to do that when you're so in a groove. It's hard to cut that and go back to like start from scratch.
It is.
But because you guys started your friendship again, you had that ability.
Different.
But anyway, so it made me think of
that.
But
it's really like a lot of work.
It's really, you have to be like aware. You really have to be aware and catch yourself, you know?
And you could still be aware and like find yourself in a moment where you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But no, that's definitely something, honestly, in the last 2 years, I would say, like, I've been working on, in the sense where like I'll hear someone saying something about me and I know it's like in the friend group, and normally I would be like sending a message, but like the person who told me is like, don't say anything, and it's like it overpowers me, and I'm like, I need to say something, like they're talking about me. And over the years I realized that like I honestly genuinely just let it go. I think like for my own sanity, it just, if you start, then it just creates more of a bomb, and I realize like I don't have the energy to put towards this, and I just like, it's weird, but it works. I find to just ignore it. Maybe ignoring is not the answer.
Let it go. Maybe
I just like let it go. For me, it's like if somebody's saying something, like it's just a judgment on their personality, like their character, and not mine. So, and then if I go up to them and I make it a thing, then it starts to be like 2 teams. And like nobody wants that.
And I think it's also growing, like getting older too. Like I'm at a stage where I'm just like, I don't really feel like, I just don't feel like I'm at the age now where there should be friend drama.
Or like we need to like explain ourselves anymore. It's like I can be friends with the whole group and I could not see them for a year, and it doesn't change my friendship dynamic with them. Like you still mean this much to me. And I think growing up just means like more responsibilities. You're working on your shit, and it shouldn't be taken personal if like, oh, well, I don't see this person, or it's just like, it's elementary shit, you know?
But anyway. No, I really think that like putting that in. I think it's like hopefully gonna have like a positive effect on everyone too. And I think it's just like,
let me know how that goes though. How are we announcing this on the podcast?
Oh my god, should I just send them this clip? Hey guys, just letting you know, we all have a New Year's resolution.
Here's the timestamp where I need all of you to listen to.
Yeah, I think it's just about me, and I think like there's gonna be a point where I have to tell everybody like, just I don't want to I take it up with them, and I don't want to take part in this because I don't actually want to give my opinion anymore, even if I agree or disagree. Like, I'm just like, you know what? No. And somebody needs to break the thing. And I've always been the person where I don't want to talk about other people. And I've always said, if you're talking about other people, it's because you don't have anything to say for yourself.
Yeah.
And I just want to stand by that.
Okay. What are other things? I'm going to read you mine. I have a couple. Okay, so mine is like changing my sleeping habits, that's for sure. I want to learn something new, so whether it be a software, something
interesting.
Yeah, like I want to.
What's your like ideas?
Well, for starters, this podcast, I want to change from iMovie to Premiere. So
perfect.
I need to learn that in the new year, especially since we're getting new mics. I'll learn on YouTube. I have the time now. Veronica's like,
yeah, sure. Seems like your New Year's resolution includes me as well.
Get involved in maybe a charity or something. I've always said it, and I'm always like, when I'm rich enough, I'll do it. And it's like, baby, the time is now. You can't keep waiting on something, you know? You could just, there's always ways you can help, and it doesn't have to mean you need to be a millionaire to do it.
True.
So the next one I would say is focusing on my career. Just like, you guys know, I'm at this stage where I quit my job, and now I'm not taking on any jobs that don't align with me and that are going to make me happy. So if that means like being broke and staying home and not doing it, like, now's my time in my life to do it. But I promise you, like, I want to wake up in the new year and be like, I'm proud to say this is my job. Like, I'm proud of all the things I'm doing. And if something is not matching up, because it's just going to make me more depressed. Even if I'm making money, I'm more depressed than if I'm not making money and I'm...
1,000,000%.
You know? So that's definitely really important for me in this new year.
I agree, though. I think that's a good thing to, like, focus on. It was like me. I had that whole stage. And it really changes everything when you start only doing things you want to do. I can't even express how much that, like, changed my life. Like, even just thinking about it now, like, wow, just making that decision of, like, I'm only going to take on jobs and even freelance gigs. I never take something that I don't really want to do because I'm just like, for what? You know, I don't care about the money.
And I feel like this year especially, I'm single. I only have to worry about myself. I feel like the same way I'm super picky with like guys and who I'm going to like let in is the same way I need to be in all aspects of my life, like relationship wise, career wise, and just like where I devote my energy to.
Yeah.
So
deep.
Fucking deep, man.
You came with a list and I came with one.
I came with a list. Look after my finances. Weird, it wasn't on yours. I feel like Veronica has one on her list, but I could give you a couple other ones.
I could borrow from that list.
Yeah. Do we agree with Casey, we agree with the look after my finances more? I think just like being smarter. For example, it's New Year's. Okay. We all know that going away in this time is fucking expensive. Okay. And obviously me, the FOMO I have, and just being in this vibe of like wanting to be away, was this time the right time to go on vacation? Considering, you know, I've been traveling in these last months. No. Did I have to go at the most expensive time of year? Also no. Am I going? Yes. So I think just like being a little smarter going forward, like after this trip, just like devoting like my money and time at the right spots. I guess.
I think that's really important. I feel like I've started doing that now.
But I do that, and then like FOMO hits, and I'm like, I do not want to miss this, and then I get foggy with my vision. And I really, in this new year, want to be like, and I've already started, like, my friends will be like, hey, I want to see you. I'm like, sorry, I can't. I want to do my YouTube video. Like, just the power of being able to say no. Eventually, it's been getting easier for me. And now I actually like being home and grinding.
Yeah.
Like, even just that little bit is, like, rewarding for me. Because I'm like, I created this while I would have just been with my friends. And what would I have gotten accomplished?
I think like it's just about skipping that one thing. Like I think once you skip a trip, like you never want to miss out on the trip, Yeah. But then you have to realize there's so many more that are gonna come.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
To see though, man.
I know, but it's just like there's so many more that are gonna come, and actually the stress of come, because there is a stress of doing something that you you're just with, like, you're coming home, you're gonna be broke, it's stressful, like, it's actually a stress. And kind of like giving up that to be just like not stressed and getting your shit done, sometimes you realize like how rewarding it is, and you're like, you know what, I'm actually glad. And it's not like we're people that haven't lived our life, you know what I mean? It's not like we haven't partied, we haven't done the places. Like, that's how I see it now. And I'm just like, if I'm gonna do something and I'm gonna spend money and invest on something, I want it to be like a new experience. I want to be going somewhere where I'm finding new people, going to new places.
So on our list,
new.
I think one place we both want to visit is Japan, baby. And I don't know if that's a New Year's resolution, but I would die to do that in this year. But I don't know, with this new fucking virus.
It's
I'm
on my
so
vision board of last year, but
it's okay. It's okay.
I mean, Japan is just something that I know I'm gonna do, you know?
Yeah, me too. Love, like, oh my God.
Fucking
dying to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll do it together.
You're
like, no, I want to go with my boyfriend. There's just me in the corner taggling along.
Is that a pasta?
More organized, you know, that's just, I guess, self-explanatory.
Yep.
I don't know, this year maybe have my own apartment. Interesting. Find a job.
Start with my finances, get an apartment.
You know, they all go kind of hand in hand.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
And well, you know what? It's weird because I made this list and you see that at the beginning, the most important ones are written. And these are just ones that, you know what, even if they happen in a year from now and not this year, I'm still cool with it. But I still want to write it, you know? And another one is so I've always pictured like our friend group or just like the different dynamics of friendships just being like aired on like a Netflix show. And I've always had that on my vision board, and I never really spoke about it, but a reality TV show just seems so fitting, and I'd be fucking down for it. Veronica's like, no.
Well, I want to know what happens when I just say we're not gossiping anymore. What's the reality show when they do our personal interviews and I'm going, I choose not to speak.
Yeah, they're gonna go get this blonde bitch off the show.
They're going, cut your resolution, bitch.
Yeah. I don't know. I just always felt like someday I'd be on like some kind of TV or doing something. And it would never be like you where it's like acting. It would just be more like
reality TV.
So I have that on my vision board. But then Veronica,
stop laughing at your own vision.
I'm not laughing at my
own.
One
the universe is going, you can't even take yourself seriously.
No, I'm laughing at my own vision because about like a couple months ago, something almost came about and it had to do with Netflix, and then it didn't. But it didn't make me lose hope, and it really actually made me feel like maybe that wasn't for me. Maybe that's not what I actually wanted to do, and maybe what I actually really, really wanted to do was like the reality show with like friends or just more, because that's what I would ideally want to do. And I just felt like, how do you get a TV series or a reality show if you don't already appear on TV? So it was always like the step in order to get to the bigger dream. But now I'm like, wait, why can't I just tackle the bigger dream?
Right.
Is that weird?
No, makes sense. I mean, anyway, I think it's not impossible, definitely.
I just feel like people would have more of an insight of our life. And I feel like there's always so many things going on with all of us. Anyway, I just think it would be a fucking amazing show. If any producers are listening and they want us to pitch our pilot, then we're ready.
Well, do we want to talk about when our first fuck up of the industry? So like I said, like I joked before,
quote of the day is keep your enemies closer.
So like I joked before that I'm like, this is my brand. Like, I need everyone to not have these, you know, it's easy to say like, fuck it, you never see them again. But I'm like, my plan is for this podcast to pop off. Like, they're going to see me again. Yeah. Every time something happens, I'm always like, we need to think of like the bigger picture and like not leave on bad terms, and like anything we get into, like it can never be left on bad terms because that shit lasts forever. And I've always felt like that, even with jobs and anything like that. So a while ago, somebody had reached out to us to work with us on like representation basis kind of. And basically in the end it didn't work out. They were trying to,
that's a nice way of putting it.
Like I said, keep your enemies close. But like it was very like they were trying to take advantage of us in a sense, and we were just
then again,
like,
there's
no.
always three sides to the story. Like, we might feel like they were trying to take advantage of us, but maybe in their eyes, they were seeing it as like,
We're
no,
helping
we're
you.
actually helping you.
Yeah.
Which, okay, in that way, like, I'll give them credit. But I think whenever it's your baby and we've put in so much work, it's so hard to maybe see the reality of it too, you know? Even though I completely still feel the same way I did.
Yeah.
But something we always say, and well, something we never say and we should always say is whenever you feel a certain way, whether it be like fighting with a friend or a business decision, literally let it simmer.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times I've like attacked friends and then I was like, if I would have just given myself 15 extra minutes, I wouldn't have acted that way. I would have been able to breathe and I would not have acted that way. And I always get mad at myself. I'm like, I need to hold.
24 hours, baby.
Anyway.
Basically, look, in our eyes, he was pretty much taking advantage of us. And we were like, look, we don't want to do this anymore. But we were fucking polite about it because I wrote the text. Because Alessia's was gonna get us canceled.
Wait, people are gonna think I'm like this drama girl.
No, you're not. You're just like, you'll say how it is, and I'm more of like the PR girl who's thinking about how it's gonna look. You know what I mean?
And this is a perfect example.
Yeah, I definitely would say I really have a PR brain. Like, I'm very like, we need to make sure we look good, you know?
But we started off that way.
Yeah. So I sent him a nice little text. He did not take it well. He was like, da 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 da. And then Alessia took the phone, and we were in a group chat, guys. So
it was a group chat of him and then us two. And I remember we had just finished our workout at when we were training together back in the day when I used to work out. And I remember we were blowing off some steam because we were angry about it, but we're training, so it's like we're giving each other that time. But then when that phone came into our hands and we're in one car fucking yelling,
well, I'm saying, say this, and she's like,
okay, Veronica, he just said this. We're not being nice anymore. Like, what are we being stepped on now? I don't think so. And then she's like, don't say that. It's a group chat. So I'm like, I'll just say it on my behalf.
And then I remember as she's saying, I'm going to say this. And I'm like, don't say it. And I'm leaving. I'm getting in my car. 2 seconds later, I get the notification that she sent the message. I'm like, she's like, it's fine. He's nobody anyways. Anyways, so full circle is.
Yeah, but you too, you were writing.
Well, I was like.
at a point you were writing. You're like, okay.
Because he was being fucking mean.
He
He wasn't caring
rude.
about his reputation, actually. I was like, you know what? So anyway, so guys, just to put into perspective, all this happened a really long time ago. I would actually say like over a year ago. And recently we found out that he might be getting some kind of big deal. Don't want to say with Netflix, but somewhere in California. And we were like, wow, that is the perfect lesson.
That is the perfect lesson that no matter how much somebody did you wrong, man,
sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet.
bite the bullets.
Be respectful.
Yeah.
Just remember that anybody can literally achieve anything. So be careful who you speak to because you never know.
Yeah. I still feel like we were, not to say like who was in the right and the wrong. We were, our points were valid.
Yeah.
And I think like it's just annoying, I guess. But
no, for sure. I don't regret anything either. Like, I still think like we did better off. You know what I
we're
mean?
so much better off.
I have no regrets. It's just more like we really burnt that bridge.
We fucking burnt that bridge on that fucking mood board that I had. Damn it. Fuck Netflix now. No, I'm kidding.
But no, I do feel like there's definitely like a lot of things this year that I want to achieve just because I feel like it's been so half-assed, like pandemic and restrictions. We haven't been able to like full go and just do what we want to do without there being like extra little pew to do, you know? Like, it's always been like this, like, you can never just fucking do what you want to do. So I hope that this year is going to be like fresh. And I'm going to be honest, like I said, my resolutions come with how old I am. So like, I have some things I want to achieve before 26, guys. Like, somebody the other day was like, oh, he's 21, he's a baby. And then I was like, no, 25. And she's like, oh, not so much a baby. And I was like, yes, baby, I'm a baby. I'm the child.
So you're 25, I'm turning 26.
Yeah,
That's
baby.
so crazy you have a year on me. That's so rude.
I
Anyway,
like
another resolution was like, I don't love reading books, but I want to find a way to start reading books that I enjoy just because I want to like improve my English. No,
Okay.
it's true. It's really true. So, and it goes hand in hand. You know, you have a podcast, you want to use more than 3 words on the podcast.
1,000,000%. Well, your ex-boyfriend let me a book once, so you can have it if you want. Start with number 1.
I'll actually
so
I'll actually give an example of something that irritated me, and I did not wait 15 minutes before talking to my friends about it, and I just exploded. And I was in London, and I still follow my ex-boyfriend on Instagram, and that's something that I'm like, should I unfollow? Like, I don't really want to see the stuff, you know? Maybe let me mute his stories because I don't want to constantly be reminded of like his new chick. But I was like, I feel like my reasonings for not wanting to unfollow have to do with like not wanting to be immature, but I do feel like it sometimes is at my own expense. And but I will say, without unfollowing and just like when you keep seeing things, it just becomes easier and easier. So it's either I unfollow and then I'm like like I feel like I'm, how do you say it, I'm immature.
Yeah.
Or I keep him there and I just am the bigger person, but then little things irritate me.
Yeah.
For example, my ex-boyfriend had posted a new pic, a slide of a couple pictures, and one being with his new girl. Okay. And look, I'm actually, and nobody's gonna believe me, but I'm actually happy. I'm actually happy for him. I'm being real.
Yeah, and I didn't pour out the bottle.
I'm joking because I I think you believe that I'm over it.
Yeah.
I'm over it to a certain extent where I don't feel like my friends need to be liking the picture. Okay. Now that might be immature on my end. I don't know if I sound stupid.
No.
Okay. Let's just say you're still following your ex. He's moved on and you're actually like, I would say in some way I'm thriving in my life. I know I have no job and it's hard to believe, but I'm at my happiest.
Yeah.
Okay. And now my friends, well, two of my friends go and like his picture. Okay. There's so much emotion going through because I'm like, I feel like it's a personal attack to me, even though I know it's not. And that's something I'm working on. I like freaked. And like, I know it made me seem like, okay, like, you're clearly not over him. You're all this. And I'm like, I know it's going to look that way, but I am. I just think there's like a rule book when you something's fresh and recent, you want, I don't know. I think like his friends wouldn't be liking a picture if I would be posting a guy because it's soon after, or even they're not even liking certain pictures of mine. A lot of them unfollowed me, which is totally acceptable and normal. So to see my friends kind of feel like they don't have my back and they're like supporting it, which I could be in support, but I'm not clicking that button. I sound so stupid.
No, I mean, there's two sides to this, but continue.
Anyway, so I was just annoyed when I saw that my two friends had liked the picture. It just felt like a personal attack on me, and which had me like explode. I'm in London, and I literally was like, okay, who am I FaceTiming first? So I FaceTimed the first person, and I'm like, why did you do that? This and that. And I was angry. And I think what doesn't help is like when you're with somebody who is also going to be like agreeing with you. Like, yeah, that's not right.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, okay, my 15 minutes is not even happening because I'm fucking pumped now, you know? It's like, you agree with me? Okay. And anyways, I was just annoyed and I like kind of lost it on two of my friends. And one was like completely understanding and the other one just got there, but a little later.
Do you want me to give my point of view on it?
Yes.
So I see it in two ways. So like I agree with you and I see how you see it.
Yeah.
But I also think that like you can't expect everyone to understand where you are, especially like you're saying you're so over it and everyone knows that.
Yeah.
And you are living your life. So it's very like okay, she's good. Like there's no harm. I don't have beef with him. I'll just like the picture. Like it's like more of it's not deep, especially for people that are not in your relationship, which I know can be hard
in the case of like, I understand that they had like a friendship before, like they got along, which I would never want them to be like hating each other at all. Like I don't want that for anybody. And I think if it was any other picture, I'd be like, go for it. It would never bother me. I think just because of everything and how soon after it happened, like if they would have liked the picture in maybe like a year, I would say like, you know, it's fine. You know what I mean? I think it was just soon after. So for me, it was a bit like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like are you doing this because you're like pissed at me? Like, are you?
I think
Anyway.
like that's where I disagree with you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's a personal attack. I think I do agree with you, and I think you're allowed to be like upset and be like, no, don't do that. And that's like, okay, moving on. Like, I understand the boundary, but like everyone's different, and like they might think you're living your best life. You don't care at all. So like they actually don't know that you will care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very hard to like know how somebody feels, and it's a personal thing for you, but not for everyone else.
Yeah, because
so
I dated him, they didn't.
It's for everyone. Everyone will take it in their own personal way. There's a lot of things that I do that people are like, what the fuck? And I'm like, why is this bad? You know? And sometimes it's just about like actually being like, okay, now you made me realize.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you, because I would be the same way. I would be like, what the fuck? Like, you don't have my back. But I also think maybe like I really don't believe that it was a personal attack.
No. I'm just saying that that's something
like,
I feel is a personal attack, but it's normally never.
Yeah.
And that's where my frustration always comes from. But it's within, anyways, something I'm working on. But yeah, and then when they were both like, okay, well, I'll go unlike it, and by the time I had a chance to say, obviously don't do it now, they both go and unlike the pic, and I'm like, now we spoke about it, now I'm angry. Now, Alessia, why didn't you wait your fucking 15 minutes before you attacked your friends?
1,000,000%. It's the same thing like when you're fighting with your boyfriend over like a girl he follows or something, and it's like, well, now I'll unfollow her. I'm like, well, no, because now it looks like we had this conversation for you to unfollow her, so please don't do that.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think for me, it was like his friends had the respect to not do it. I didn't think it was something I had to almost like talk about, and I think it's subjective to who it's affecting, and it's more of a personal thing, but yeah, to me it was like sometimes we think something is so obvious to someone and we feel like, well, you should obviously know that, and somebody might have had different life experiences, and to them it's not something maybe they understood because they've been through or whatever.
1,000,000%.
So that's another reason.
Yeah,
like it could be, you know. So.
I think sometimes we just believe everyone thinks like we do, and then they don't. The way that I see it, and I think is like a good thing to like.
Okay, wait, I have a question for you. If somebody did that, would you be annoyed?
Yeah, I said I would be annoyed. Like, it's happened to me in the past where I was seeing people like supporting, and I was just like, is this like, why are you doing this? And I feel like I had the experience to be like, okay, well, I don't know the situation. I'm just, even though I'm good with this person, I'm just not going to give the like, just because I know that sometimes it can be an indication of like, I support this. So I'm not going to do that. And that's my experience. But however, I do feel like, and this is like a good rule to follow, if you feel like somebody did something and like you talk to them about it and be like, look, I didn't like this. This is where I stand. You set the boundary. If they do it again, I think that's a personal attack. And I think that's like, what the fuck? True. I think when you set your ground and be like, I know maybe you might think that I'm so okay with this, but I'm actually not. And then they don't do it. I think that's like shows more than the first time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think also we expect, sometimes we don't say anything and we just let it sit. That when the second time comes, it's like, it feels like the personal attack, but you never had the conversation the first time. So that's the first issue.
Yeah.
You cannot personally feel attacked unless you've spoken to them about it.
And then they chose to do it.
And that's why I think when people blow up, it's because they have all this anger in them, but they never addressed it.
Exactly.
So address your situations.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Wait 15 minutes.
Wait 15 minutes. Except if you're coming to the podcast because, you know, time management. Anyways, but I'm so excited for this new year. I'm actually like hyped.
Me too.
I feel like, you know,
I wrote 3 that you needed to work on. You're like, what the fuck?
Well, you're not allowed to say 3 for me if I don't have 3 for you.
Oh, you have many for me. No stress. I just had here not to be focused on what other people think as much, which I think you're trying to work on.
I'm trying to work on, but I also know it's impossible. Like I said, I have a PR brain. But I will say that it doesn't come from like, I know what you mean though. I really try not to care what people think, but I'll tell you where this comes from in me. I feel like
you don't want to upset anybody.
I don't want to upset anybody. I try my best to be like as good of a person as I can be. And I know that sounds weird because you shouldn't try to be good, but sometimes you just like, you always try to make the right decision and to be like there for everyone and try to be supportive. And I really try my best to be a decent human being and like to try to be there for everyone and try to be good and try to do the right thing. like I will not do any, like I just try to follow and do the right thing all the time.
And sometimes by doing the right thing, you get tasks thrown at you,
Yeah.
and then you're like, how did this end up on me? But it's like sometimes you have to stand your ground, I think.
But I think just trying to be the best person all the time for everyone, when somebody doesn't like you or says you did something wrong, like the perfect example when somebody was like, you didn't do that. I'm like, yo, I try so hard to actually not be that person that it's so insulting to my character for you to think that. Like, I don't want you to think that because I'm trying so hard to not be that person.
Yeah.
Like, I could if I wanted to, but it's just not me. So I think that's where it comes to me. Like, when people insult me or attack me for things that I feel like I don't deserve, I'm like, what the hell? You know, I can't get over it. Mm-hmm. But I do agree I should stop thinking so much.
Well, me, it's land a big acting gig. But yeah.
I don't know if that's a resolution, though.
No, it's not a resolution. It's a mix.
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely going to happen for you in the new year. And we're saying it here, and you guys are all going to witness it now. Manifesting. Stop undervaluating your worth for jobs and stuff.
I feel like I've started doing that, though.
Okay.
I feel like I'm on the route now that I feel like comfortable.
Good.
Yeah.
Now it's like my turn. You're like, time management. Time management.
Time management, number one. I think I would actually throw back the...
I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm fucking scared.
Well, to be honest, I think that we have the same problem in different ways. So I think I care too much
I see what she did there. She threw herself in the mix, so I feel less attacked. It's all these little things Veronica does. It's why our friendship's still rolling.
But I feel like I care what people think when they're like talking shit about me or telling me things I didn't do. But I feel like you care what people think in how you look and how people perceive you in like your life. So I feel like you should stop making decisions based off how people will think. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like sometimes you do things because you're like, I want to look fun, I want to look pretty or whatever. You know what I mean? We tend to do that on social media. So I feel like you should worry less about that because you are having a good life. You are fun. You are pretty. You don't need to prove it to anyone.
Wow.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
I feel like we care in different levels. Like, I don't care to prove to people, but I'm insulted when people like when they meet me and then they don't like me or something like that. But I feel like you more feel like you need to prove to people. Yeah. But you don't care if people
I feel like it's a battle I like face within myself though. Yeah. It's like nobody's actually even thinking of any of these things and it's just within myself. Yeah. Wow, fucking deep.
Don't cry.
Oh my god.
I only have 2 though for you. Honestly, I didn't think of a third one. So sorry.
Well, I do want to speak about how we're both doing our YouTube channel right now. That's so exciting for the both of us.
Except I haven't posted a video in 2 months.
That's fine. You had a video go viral. That's amazing.
Yeah, fucking more views than Chemical X. I almost quit this podcast.
It's crazy. It's crazy how sometimes you could be working on something for so long and then like you do one thing. You don't think anything of it. You kind of just let it be and it just like pops off. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting.
I think we're both set to go and I want to give this energy to anyone who's listening. And
well, for my YouTube channel, I was just always thinking of it in a way where I was like, I want to do, a lot of people write to me and they're like, I love your style. Like you should post more and stuff. Like I love like what you buy. And I'm like, really? Like I know like I love to do this, but I don't realize like I could actually like help people and stuff, and I didn't really realize how much I enjoyed it until like I really got into it. So I think for me in the new year, like that's definitely something I want to keep doing and I don't want to stop. Yeah, because I always get like discouraged, but I know that it's like anybody who started literally was the annoying girl who started until they were not the annoying girl with the subscribers. So
1,000,000%. You just, everything is consistency.
I know.
So be patient. That'll be my resolution for you also. Be more patient.
I guess you had 3 after all.
Yeah, I'll give you your third one. Be more patient.
Well, now that I just finished therapy class.
Yeah, now that we're both going to leave and cry. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening, guys.
Thank you guys so much for watching this week's episode. If you related to any of our New Year's resolutions, comment down below.
Thank you so much for listening, and hopefully maybe you guys can get inspired and get some own resolutions to instill in your own life and hopefully keep them through the entire year and for the rest of your life, actually.